Welcome to Too Real for TV Podcast, Season 1, Episode 3, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving deep, really deep, into something incredibly personal. It's something we all get, often before we even, have a voice, our names. How do these labels actually shape who we become, and importantly, how the world sees us?
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic. And for this deep dive, we've gathered some really compelling material. We've got an insightful academic paper from Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU, looking into how personal names shape perception, and another one from Athor on the impact of language and identity. But maybe the most vivid stuff comes from this really candid online discussion we found. People were sharing just raw, sometimes really painful experiences with names they, well, frankly hated.
Right. So, our mission today is to unpack all of this. We want to explore the surprising, maybe hidden weight our names carry, and uncover the real-world implications, things like academic performance, how we interact socially, even personal safety. You're going to hear stories that are, well, yeah, too real for TV. Okay, so let's get into it. We're starting with that central online discussion because it lays bare the emotional side of this so clearly. Can you imagine growing up being called Bunny?
That was the core of the main post, wasn't it? A 23-year-old woman, Bunny, sharing this profound dislike for her name. She called it cutes unique. And she talked about the constant comments, often mocking ones she dealt with her whole life.
Just relentless, it sounds like.
Yeah. And what's really interesting, or maybe sad, is the family pattern she described. Her parents apparently had a thing for these cutesy dumb names, as she put it. Her 3 older siblings got similarly unique names.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't just her.
Not at all. Her older brother got so fed up he legally changed his name to William, which he could shorten to Bill. Just wanted something normal.
Sensible move.
And her sister, bullied intensely. Kids called her name a stripper name.
Oh, that's rough, especially for a kid.
Exactly. And the cycle, unfortunately, seems to be continuing with her younger half-siblings from her mother's new relationship. There's a tween who's apparently fighting her mom right now over her name because she's getting bullied.
Oh, no.
And get this, there's a toddler whose name is the same as a popular snack cake.
You're kidding. A snack cake.
Not kidding. We'll get back to that specific name later. It's quite something.
It's just heartbreaking reading her post, especially how she described her mom's reaction to her brother changing his name, using guilt trips, saying things like, I thought I raised you not to care what people think, acting like she was stabbed.
Right. That reveals this really difficult dynamic, doesn't it? This idea of parental ownership over a name versus the child's actual identity and autonomy.
Yeah, like the kid can't even assert who they are without causing this massive emotional drama.
Yeah.
How does that play out later?
Well, it can absolutely foster deep resentment. That feeling she mentioned of being treated like a parent's accessory rather than, a person. And that original post, it clearly struck a chord. Huge online conversation. Just this outpouring of emotion from people who felt their parents' choices caused real lasting harm. People feeling like their parents were more focused on being quirky than on setting their kid up for, well, life.
And the comment section just exploded,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't just people agreeing with Bunny. It opened the floodgates to all sorts of experiences showing just how widespread these naming issues are. It really is universal.
Absolutely. And several themes kept popping up again and again. First, you had the punny or literal names, like someone actually named Grammar.
Grammar, seriously.
Seriously. She said she felt she had to be good at grammar just out of necessity. Another was poetry, not poet, the whole genre. She changed it when she turned 18.
Wow, okay.
Then there were the names obviously chosen just to be unique. Someone's first name was literally, I am unique.
Spelled like that.
One word. Apparently so. And then some truly unfortunate ones like yucky or saliva, where people felt too much pity to even tease them.
Oh my gosh. That's almost worse in a way. Being named into a lifelong pun or a dictionary entry makes you wonder, were the parents thinking about the kid's future job interview at all, or just the cleverness?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And then we saw the cute animal or nature names that just didn't land right as adults. Like Mitten, though she said she loved it, people always questioned it. Or Fawn, Chick. Another person mentioned their brother's birth name was Sundance, and he fought kids constantly over it.
Sundance. Yeah, I can see that being tough on the playground.
Then there were the pop culture references or drug names or just controversial ones. Someone mentioned knowing a sativa, and her brother was named Jupiter. Kind of points to the parents' interests, maybe.
Leaves a little doubt there.
Yeah. Another pair of siblings named Indica and Sativa. Also names like Beaver, Rocky Bear. And alarmingly, someone knew a kid tragically named Hitler.
Oh, there are no words for that. Just awful.
Truly awful. And remember that snack cake name the original poster mentioned for her toddler half-brother?
Yeah, what was it?
It was Poof, spelled, uniquely. Pooffe or something similar, I imagine.
Oof.
Yeah. And commenters immediately jumped on that, pointing out that poof is also a pretty nasty homophobic slur in some places.
Oh my God.
Some even suggested twink as being in the same vein. The implication was the mother just wasn't aware, or maybe didn't care, about the real-world baggage that name carries.
That's a staggering lack of awareness. It's beyond quirky at that point.
Definitely. And it wasn't just the obviously out there names. There was also this constant struggle people talked about with unique spellings or pronunciation.
Right, like a simple name but spelled with a random capital letter in the middle, or Annalisa written as two words instead of Annalisa.
Exactly. Or names that are difficult for strangers to pronounce, maybe traditional Egyptian or Russian names given to kids with no ethnic connection to them. People just described being exhausted, constantly having to correct people, spell it out, explain it.
That low-level friction, day after day, must really wear you down.
It adds up. And this leads to a really serious point that multiple people in the comments raised. Privacy. Concerns about having a unique first or last name, making them, quote, eminently doxable.
Meaning easy to find online.
Exactly. Too easy. Their personal info could be dug up just by searching their unique name.
That's a huge deal, way beyond just feeling awkward. I remember reading about a nurse.
Yeah, she shared that patients and their families were finding her on social media and sending friend requests.
Ow.
Because her full unique name was on paperwork she might have left in the room or maybe on her badge. It was just so easy to trace her.
That crosses a line. It's not just inconvenient, it feels like a safety issue, a privacy violation.
It absolutely is. So it really makes you ask, beyond the social stuff, the bullying, how do these very personal naming choices hit practical things like online security, professional life? We heard from someone who said they've never been happier to be a Smith.
Huh? Yeah, I bet.
And others appreciating common last names like Chang or Williams, precisely because they offer a bit of anonymity. They're harder to trace online.
So the real-world impact is definitely there. People were even sharing tips on using Google's tools to remove personal info from search results. That tells you how common this worry is.
It really does.
So, okay, we've got these incredibly powerful personal stories from the online discussion. How does this connect with what the academics are saying about names? What does the research tell us?
Well, the academic stuff really provides the framework, the context for these experiences. That VCU Scholars Compass paper, for instance, it's very clear. Names are not just arbitrary sounds. They actually factor heavily into a person's success in life. A lot of it comes down to first impressions and implicit bias.
Implicit bias, meaning judgments we make without even realizing it.
Exactly. And this applies to first names, last names, even middle initials. Fun fact, having more middle initials can actually make people perceive you as having higher intellectual performance.
Really? Just the initials?
Apparently so. But the bigger point the VCU paper makes is quite stark. It says a name alone can signal things like educational worth, or it can associate someone, often unfairly, with lesser valued societal qualities.
Wow. So your name can kind of prejudge you.
In a way, yes.
Yes.
This is a big reason why historically you see immigrants anglicizing their names. It wasn't just about fitting in. It was often about facing less actual adversity, less discrimination.
That makes sense.
And it happens on a micro level, too. Studies show teachers might treat students differently based on their names, which can directly impact that student's education.
So it's not just about how the name sounds, but what it signals culturally or socially. That really puts Bunny's struggles and why someone would want to change their name into a much broader societal context. It's definitely not just being sensitive.
Not at all. And the Athor paper, Impact of Language and Identity, backs this up strongly. It calls names primary cues. They guide our very first experiences with people and shape our social interactions later on. They're fundamental to identity, how we label ourselves and distinguish groups.
So they carry meaning beyond just identifying someone.
Oh, absolutely. Connotative meaning. They evoke social ideas, concepts. Athor gives an example. Show people the same picture, but tell one group the person is named Jose and another group Edgar.
Okay.
The group told the name is Jose might be more likely to assume things, like the person is unemployed or might get into a fight, just based on the name.
That's sobering, based purely on a name triggering a stereotype.
Exactly. And get this, people apparently tend to choose friends, even marriage partners, whose names they can easily pronounce.
Seriously, ease of pronunciation matters that much.
It seems to factor in. And names, especially surnames that signal ethnicity, can trigger stereotypes about education, social status, especially on things like resumes.
It's like a domino effect, isn't it? Starts with the name, influences perception, which then influences opportunity, maybe even self-perception.
You've hit it exactly. Aethor really emphasizes how names influence how we see ourselves. Whether we feel like we belong to a certain group identity or maybe feel alienated by our name, it impacts our self-concept, our self-esteem.
So if your name constantly brings up negative reactions or associations.
It can lead to what Aethor calls a devaluation of self-worth, which connects right back to Bunny feeling she needed to project this tough, masked guy who was learning how to make jerky image to counteract her cutesy name.
Right. Or the person named Grammar feeling obligated to be good at it. It's like they're constantly trying to manage the expectations set by the name itself.
It's an internal struggle, trying to align who you feel you are with how the world seems to be labeling you based purely on your name.
So amidst all this weight and complexity, what about solutions? Did the online discussion offer any practical advice for people stuck with names they hate?
It did, actually.
Yeah.
Which was quite helpful. People were very practical. They pointed out that legal name changes are absolutely an option. It's a process, but doable. And importantly, some mentioned that in certain places, you might be able to get the fees waived, maybe based on income level, or if you receive state benefits.
Oh, that's really good to know. Makes it more accessible.
Definitely. And a lot of commenters really hammered home the idea of parental responsibility. Thinking ahead, the consensus was pretty strong. Parents need to consider their child's adult life when choosing a name.
Not just what sounds cute for a baby.
Exactly. The advice was, choose something normal and recognizable, something that will sound professional and maybe has some acceptable nicknames. Give the kid options.
And the middle name idea came up too, right? As the place for creativity.
Yes, lots of people suggested that. Use the middle name for the unique or family name. That way, the person can choose later whether to use it, maybe just use the initial, or ignore it altogether professionally if they want. It gives flexibility.
That seems like a really sensible compromise. You get the meaning or uniqueness in there, but without potentially burdening the first name.
Precisely. And for those already dealing with unique names that make them too visible online.
The doxing risk we talked about?
Right. People pointed out that Google actually has tools now where you can request to remove personal information, like your address or phone number, from search results. That's crucial for safety and privacy today.
Definitely a practical step people can take.
So if we pull all this together, the personal pain points, the practical advice, the academic insights, it really highlights this profound responsibility parents have, doesn't it? It's like Aethor concludes. Our names are where so much about our identity intersects. The first name shapes how the world sees us. And that perception, in turn, kind of shapes the life we live with that name.
It's a cycle.
It really is. A cycle playing out millions of times every year with every naming choice parents make. And the consequences, as we've seen, can ripple out much further than just the nursery.
Wow. This deep dive into the, surprisingly complex world of names, it's really been eye-opening. It's such a powerful reminder that what we call each other and what we ourselves are called, it goes so far beyond just simple identification. It carries real weight.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating is just how deeply embedded names are in our social fabric, influencing perceptions, biases, our own sense of who we are, often in ways we barely stop to think about. And it leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? In a world where names clearly carry so much implicit meaning, so much baggage sometimes, how do we get better at seeing the actual individual behind the label?
That's a great question to ponder. A huge thank you for joining us on this episode of Too Real for TV. If this deep dive sparked some new thoughts for you, maybe about your own name or the names around you, we definitely encourage you to keep exploring that. Until our next deep dive, stay curious and keep questioning.